Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News Weekly Roundup. Still coming in hot from Dubai. We are buzzing, guys. Bit of a pretty not good week. Really tough week on the political and worldwide front. Prayers to the two main people and their families who were affected. Terrible things. We don't love to see that. And hopefully that stops happening. Our world is way too beautiful and way too amazing for this stuff to happen all the time. So we're thinking of everyone involved. Rachel, you're in San Fran. How you doing right now?
Doing well, Matt. Yeah, this has been a tough week and, we've got some crypto news to talk about. So let's get into it.
Let's do it. Price action as always. Bitcoin's up 4% to 114.5K. ETH is up 3 ticks to 4.4. XRP is up 6%. BNB is up 6%. Green across the board, literally across the whole board as I look at the board right now. And the biggest gainer of the week, my favorite, HyperLiquid, up 22% to $55 per. Hype also had a new all-time high above $56 as well. We'd love to see it. And we're going to start out with some HyperLiquid news dominating the crypto news flow this week. Rachel, HyperLiquid slashes trading fees by 80%. Things you love to see. What a start to the week.
Yeah, Matt. So let's talk about it. Decentralized perpetual futures exchange HyperLiquid is preparing to roll out its first native stablecoin while slashing spot trading fees by 80%, in a move designed to boost liquidity and deepen its hold over the DeFi derivatives market. The exchange announced on Discord that the next network upgrade will cut taker fees, maker rebates, and user volume contribution for spot pairs between two quote assets by 4/5. Alongside the fee changes, HyperLiquid has reserved the USDH ticker for a new dollar-backed stablecoin, which will be allocated through a validator vote. Teams seeking to issue USDH must submit proposals, including their deployment address and the winning bid, to be selected by validator quorum in a fully on-chain process. This is really cool news. Glad to see it.
Yeah, very awesome. Moving forward, one of the most wild weeks I've seen where one ecosystem dominated all the crypto news flow, and that was because of Hyperliquid's USDH proposal, which was for their native stablecoin. Paxos came in, Athena came in. It's looking like native markets with Max Feed is going to win it. But Paxos came in and said that their proposal, 95% of interest earnings would go to Hype token buybacks. Pretty wild stuff here. The decentralized exchange reserved USDH ticker and invited teams to submit deployment proposals. Again, some of the biggest and baddest teams in all of crypto coming in board to try to win that proposal. As Circle is losing out on $200 million per year, give or take, from this fumble. Pretty wild stuff. Moving forward towards Soul, and shout out Tony G, the old chairman and founder of CryptoNews.com, for his company Soul Strategies. First Soul Treasury ever to go public on the Nasdaq. Snaps and well deserved.
Yeah, so Soul Strategies, a Canadian company dedicated to investing and providing infrastructure for the Solana blockchain, has secured approval to list its common shares on the Nasdaq Global Select Market. The company confirmed the news this week, making it the first Solana-focused public firm to achieve a U.S. listing. Great news. We'd love to see this.
Yeah, very well said there. Speaking of Solana, a new behemoth has entered the arena. Forward Industries has announced a $1.65 billion private placement in cash and stablecoin commitments through private investment in public equity, also known as a PIPE. And this is led by Galaxy Digital, Jump Capital, and Multicoin Capital. In a press release show with Crypto News, the firm said the financing, one of the largest Solana-focused raises to date, will allow the company to establish a massive digital asset treasury strategy centered on the Solana blockchain. That's this article that we were talking about came out a couple days ago. Present day, they have closed the PIPE. And it looks like a lot of Soul is about to be purchased. Well done to the Forward Industries team. Moving over and going to the other side of the pond, HashKey unleashed a $500 million fund to build Asia's largest institutional bridge into the cryptosphere.
Yeah, so HashKey Group, one of Asia's leading digital asset financial service providers, has unveiled plans to launch what it calls the region's largest multi-currency digital asset treasury ecosystem fund. The initiative was announced this week, and it aims to raise more than $500 million in its first phase and establish a long-term institutional bridge between traditional finance and on-chain assets. Excited to see how this is going to play out.
Well said, Rachel. Speaking of crazy stuff, another crypto corporate treasury play went parabolic this week. Eightco shares surged over 3,000%. Shares surged over 3,000% after announcing a $250 million plan to adopt Worldcoin as its primary treasury asset. They will also rebrand the ticker to Orbs, which aligns with Worldcoin's iris scanning orb devices. Pretty wild stuff here, and one of the most parabolic run-ups I've ever seen in my 13-year history of trading stocks. Something pretty scary happening earlier this week, Rachel, with Ledger, as the Ledger CTO issued a crazy urgent warning over some absurd JavaScript attacks.
Yeah, Matt. So, a large scale supply chain attack on the JavaScript ecosystem prompted an urgent warning from Ledger's chief technology officer, Charles Guillemot. Apologies if I mispronounced your last name, Charles, who advised users without hardware wallets to avoid on chain transactions until further notice. On September 8th, hackers compromised the NPM account of Josh Goldberg, a well known open source maintainer known as Quix, publishing malicious updates to 18 widely used packages, including Chalk, Debug, Strip, and C and Color Convert. These utilities underpin much of the modern web and collectively account for more than 2.6 billion weekly downloads, according to NPM statistics. Yikes.
Yeah, pretty wild stuff there. Ripple back at it again, expanding its partnership with the Spanish banking giant BBVA. This was announced on Tuesday, and they made an agreement to provide its institutional grade digital asset custody technology to support the Spanish bank's expanding crypto ops. The new deal will use Ripple custody to manage Bitcoin and Ethereum holdings for retail customers in Spain. Pretty wild. Don't really get that, to be completely honest, Rachel, but good move for Ripple. This move comes following the bank's launch of a digital asset trading and custody service earlier this year. Again, don't get why they would use Ripple custody to manage Bitcoin and Ethereum, but heck, I'm not on the Ripple team. Good for Ripple. Still don't know how they're the third biggest crypto in all of the crypto world. Good for the XRP Maxi, folks. Anyways, Wall Street will debut the Dogecoin ETF on Thursday. Holy crap, I can't believe I just said that out loud.
Yeah, Matt, this is really interesting news. So, Dogecoin, also known as Doge, exchange traded funds are set to make their Wall Street debut on Thursday of this week, marking a historic stamp of legitimacy for the meme coin sector. Unlike Bitcoin ETFs approved under the Securities Act of 1933, the Rex Osprey Dogecoin ETF won approval under the Investment Company Act of 1940, a framework typically used for mutual funds and diversified ETFs. By the end of August, 92 crypto exchange traded products had been awaiting SEC decisions from the SEC, and the US Dogecoin products were among these, alongside other meme coin applications such as Pengu, the token tied to the NFT brand Pudgy Penguins. I think this is great to start off some meme coin ETFs, and excited to see how this unfolds and what may come next.
Some wild stuff there. We just talked about some crazy stuff. Now some more legitimate news and some very surprising news, perhaps the most surprising news of the week, which we will save for last. Binance, the world's largest exchange by a country mile, has entered into a strategic partnership with Franklin Templeton investment management firm overseeing 1.6 trillion in assets. The collaboration aims to develop new digital asset initiatives and investment solutions tailored to a broad range of investors. This partnership will also explore ways to integrate Franklin's expertise into the compliant tokenization of securities with Binance's global trading infrastructure and investor reach. Rachel, great week as always. Well, great week doing this with you. Great week for crypto. Things were really good, but the world definitely not the best week. Again, we're thinking out and we give our condolences to everyone involved. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in as always. Hopefully next week is a better week for the world and another great week for crypto. Thank you for tuning in. As always, hammer that like button, hammer that subscribe button. Next week, I will not have the birds chirping in the background. So my apologies for the squeaks. Love you guys, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye, everyone. Thanks. See you next time.